What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? This is your boy Chris B. Daniels, back in effect, and I'm coming at you once again with another episode of Beyond Belief, Fact to Fiction. Now, this is episode 6 from season 2, and I gotta say, this was one of the best episodes I've seen in the entire series so far. So far, not one story bored me. You know, it had its funny moments too. Funny moments, you know what I'm saying? It was one story, the second story to be exact. It was pretty funny, but you'll know why when we get there. But anyway, we're gonna start off with the first story. It's called Bright Light. So this story has a familiar face in it. I don't know if any of y'all has seen Revenge of the Nerds or Bloodsport, which you probably have more than likely, but you got Donald Gibbs in this story. You know what I'm saying? To me, he's a dope actor. You know what I'm saying? He kind of reminds me of one of those guys that, one of those like jerks in the movies where they be approaching women or harassing women and then somebody steps in to put them in their place. He kind of sort of reminds me of that, type of person, but not really. He has like this aura where he'll do that, try to get with a woman, but, he also like knows, I don't know, he knows his boundaries, if that makes sense. But anyway, this story is about a woman who gets lost on the road. She's trying to go see her sick grandmother. So she stops in at this bar and she's at the table looking at the map, trying to figure out, where to go next. When Donald Gibbs' character and another guy is standing over, across the room. I guess they was making a bet, or Donald Gibb. I'm just gonna call him Donald Gibb for the sake of the story, but he tells the guy to watch and learn. You know what I'm saying? He's gonna go over and try to holler at the woman. So he approaches the woman and he starts talking to her. He wanted to buy her a cup of coffee, realizing, at that point she already had 3 cups. So that was a no-go. But anyway, you know, she didn't want to be bothered by nobody. She just wanted to get the hell up out that bar. So she made an excuse just to leave. And so now she's back on the road. And a few minutes later, this truck, this pickup truck or whatever, comes from behind her. You know what I'm saying? And he starts flashing his high beams. But she automatically knew it was him. And I assume she automatically knew it was him because she turned him down. You know what I'm saying? But you know, old boy starts flashing his high beams, right? And she's keep trying to get away from him. She's constantly trying to get away from him, like speeding up, flooring the car and everything, but the truck just won't stop. You know what I'm saying? It just keeps following her. So eventually she does stop. You know what I'm saying? And when you see the truck stop right after she did, you can see a clear, like, you can see a clear view of the driver in a truck. And it looks nothing like Donald Gibbs. You know what I'm saying? That's not him at first. But then when it cuts to, the front of the truck, he gets out of the truck. I mean, of course, it's probably a stunt double or something like that, but y'all know what I'm saying. But anyway, Donald Gibbs get out of the truck, you know what I'm saying? And he's carrying a shotgun and he has it pointed at her. And she steps out of the car terrified. And so right when he gets up on her, you know what I'm saying? He's not actually aiming the gun at her. He's telling her to move out the way. There was actually somebody in her back seat the whole time. And the reason why he was flashing his high beams is to keep that person from, attacking her. You know what I'm saying? And so the story ends and he finally got her that cup of coffee, that fourth cup. You know what I'm saying? And I thought it was a pretty good one. So I'll have to give this one a 9.5 out of 10. Next story. Now, this one is kind of funny. I ain't even gonna lie to y'all. I can't even lie. It's called Magic Mighty Man. So it's about this nerdy looking guy, jogging through the park. He goes through the same park every day. And there was this homeless lady that he stops by to talk to. And she has like this grocery cart full of goods or whatever. And not only is, I guess he's supposed to be a successful individual, but he's also a very caring person too, because he's telling this lady to, be careful wherever she goes because she's homeless on, she's homeless and all that. So they part ways and he continues to jog until he comes up on these two guys who starts harassing him. So they take his jacket, they take his pants, they take his shirt, watch, and wallet. And next thing you know, he's in like this big ass cage. And then he encounters the homeless lady again, and then she winds up, she gets him out, and she's digging through her grocery cart for something for him to wear because he's practically, well, he is in his boxers. So she gives him like this outfit. It's supposed to be like a Supermanish outfit, you know what I'm saying? And it's got like this big ass M on it. So the one thing I gotta say before I continue is when she has him put that on, right? He thinks he looks ridiculous, which he does. But I don't know why he had to wear the cape with it because I'm just like, y'all know how those cartoons and shows where somebody's putting on a spare pair of clothes or something like that, and it comes like, for an example, with Dragon Ball, Bulma was wearing the rabbit outfit, and then she had the rabbit ears on with it. You didn't have to wear the ears, you know what I'm saying? So old boy had the cape, and he was trying to avoid people. He was trying to get back to his car undetected, so nobody could see how ridiculous he looked. And then he encounters the two guys again. So this time they want to take everything from him. But out of nowhere, he grabs the first guy and tosses his ass. And then the second guy tries to step in. He grabs him, toss him too. And so out of nowhere, he just gains like this immense strength. You know what I mean? And at the end, he winds up getting all his stuff back. And then he walks off with the homeless lady, offering to buy her something to eat. Now, this story was kind of funny. You just got to watch it to see what I'm talking about. But it was funny to me. Now, it ended pretty well too. And I got to give this one also a 9.5 out of 10. If you haven't seen it, check it out. Like I said, episode 6, season 2. But anyway, moving on to the next story. Now, this next one also has a familiar face to it. Dante Bosco. Now, I know y'all remember him, Rufio from Hook. He was also in Blood and Bone. He played pinball, and he was in some other stuff too. The Perfect Weapon. He played the little kid. You know what I'm saying? But in this story, it kind of puts you in the mind of the movie Dangerous Minds, Stand and Deliver, but it doesn't end like those movies. You know what I'm saying? This story was about a teacher who has this unruly class, and they have to do an essay, but there's one question on the essay at the end that nobody bothered to answer. It was, what did you wanted to do with your life? You know what I'm saying? And nobody wanted to, give an answer to that question because a lot of the kids felt like they wasn't going to make it to adulthood, which is sad, by the way. But anyway, the class ends and the teacher is giving the students instructions, but everybody's ignoring her, putting their papers on the desk and walking out. But there was one student, which was Dante Bosco's character, that she didn't recognize. But he got up eventually after everybody walked out the classroom, put his paper on the desk and walked out. So the teacher, spots the fact that he actually answered the question. And so she starts reading his paper. And then when she puts it down, she sees that, the kid is back in the classroom and standing in the back of the classroom with this look on his face. You know what I'm saying? So he starts approaching the teacher like very slowly with like this serious killer look on his face, right? And so I didn't understand how the teacher didn't see him come back in the classroom, which he never did, by the way. You know what I'm saying? So she should have known something was up. You didn't see him from your peripheral view because the door is right there next to your desk, and you didn't hear the door open. So I wonder, maybe that's the last thing she was thinking when this kid was approaching her. So the teacher is getting, she becomes afraid, and she's backing up into the chalkboard. You know what I'm saying? And then next thing you know, these shots rang out through the window of her classroom. You know what I'm saying? It was like 5 or 6 shots or something along those lines. So when the teacher looks up after the incident, she sees that, Dante Bosco's character is standing there, the kid, and he starts to smile at her. And so what we learn is that he actually died in a drive-by. So that was basically his ghost trying to, get her out of the way by approaching her slowly so she wouldn't get shot up. You know what I'm saying? And so that story ended. It was a bittersweet ending because two things: one, the kid was already dead, and two, the shooting. But the sweet part of the ending that the teacher's life was saved. And so I got to give this story, I give it a 10 because this was one of the more serious stories. You know what I mean? The next story is called Scribbles. So this story, it's about this couple, and the husband he winds up, taking not life support, damn, life support, child support. Oh man, I can't. I'm tripping, yo. Anyway, he winds up taking out a life insurance policy. I don't know what the hell I'm thinking, yo. But anyway, he takes out a life insurance policy on himself, so his family will be secured just in case anything happens to him. And about 4 years later, when that little boy was 4 years old, he was on his way out for work. You know what I'm saying? And so next thing you know, he collapsed on the porch. And I believe he had a heart attack or something like that. But he winds up dying. And so now the woman and the little boy was struggling. And so the woman decides to move in with her sister. So while they're packing boxes and everything, her son is in the corner drawing. And then he keeps trying to show her, his different drawings. And she's basically brushing him off. So it was one drawing that he tried to show her, but she paid attention to it for a second, and then she told him to show his auntie, and so he winds up showing her, and she could read code. So the little boy actually drew like codes on the paper, and she knew what the codes translated to. So it was like it was I guess a bank account number, and so the sister advised the woman to go to the bank and see what it was and see if it was something, you know what I'm saying? So when the woman got to the bank, she was talking to the teller, and the teller seemed like he was frustrated with her, because she kept trying to get into the safety deposit box that he had there, but he kept telling her that it was a $200 fee just to open it. So the woman took one hell of a risk. Now, she said she will pay the guy after it's open. Now, the one thing that ran through my head this whole time since that part was, what if there was nothing in the box? She would have been screwed. But she got lucky because when they got the box open, it was money and a deed in there. You know what I'm saying? And so, she got the money, she got the deed and everything else. And so the story pretty much ended well. And then this is why they say you should never ignore a child's drawings because you never know what she might find. I know that sounded corny, but hey, anyway, I give it an 8. It was all right. It was pretty good actually, but not as good as the first 3. But anyway, the last story is called Count Mystery. So it's about this horse that has this like psychic power that could pretty much, not predict things, but tell when something happens or know what's going on and why the person is around or something like that. But anyway, it's about this kid, and his parents winds up getting a divorce, right? Now mind you, the little kid is only about 4 years old. So the kid was out exploring, right? And he winds up disappearing. And the mother, she's worried. And the mother should have been arrested for child endangerment. But anyway, the mother was worried about, her child because the child went missing. And so the news anchor and his assistant was the story, they was putting out the story, and after the news feed ended, the guy, the anchor, he was like, usually, a lot of these people out here like that just want a story to tell, you know what I'm saying? But this guy genuinely cared about this case. So his assistant told him to talk to this farmer that has this horse, you know what I'm saying, that can tell him things that nobody else knew. You know what I'm saying? So at first, the anchor, he was skeptical. You know what I'm saying? He thought it was all BS, but eventually he relented and went to go see the farmer. And so the farmer, invited him in. And so he took him out back where the horse was. And the horse knew why the guy was already, he already knew why the guy was there. And so, they took the horse out back to this fence where it had all these letters from like A to Z hanging up. And so every time somebody asks the horse a question, like it'll knock down the letters to spell out whatever the answer is. So what happened was the news anchor was asking the horse all these questions about the little boy. And then eventually they got their answer. And so the news anchor ran off with the cops and, his assistant and everybody else to like this old camp in the well. There was a well out there that the little boy actually fell in. And so they pulled him out and everything was good, the mother came and got his son and the story ended. I gotta say that was a pretty good one too. I'm kind of a sucker for stories like that. A little bit, not too much, but just a little bit. I give it a 9 out of 10. But anyway, if you haven't seen this episode, if you watched the show before but haven't seen this episode, check it out. Like if you're going to just watch a random episode of Beyond Belief and then you want to get into it, I would say, if you don't want to start from the beginning, I would say check out this episode. Episode 6, season 2. It's one of the best ones. But I'm about to jump off of here, guys. I appreciate you once again for listening. And if you're watching this on YouTube, give me a like, comment, and subscribe. It's really important to me, all right? I really appreciate you guys. Again, I'm out. Peace.
The feeling is mutual. Come in, take a seat, share your thoughts with each, and preach it when you speak, so we can share kinetic energy throughout the brainwaves to keep us balanced out and all on the same thing.